linebacker, has entered into the portal. Now, there were some people freaking out on Twitter. Not really. If everyone was watching the show, they should have expected somebody would be leaving. A lot of people liked what Nunnery did during the spring game. He had an interception on DJ Lagway, which tells you he was playing second defense. That's not a shot. That just letting you know where he was. This linebacker room, I've been saying all off seasons, there's a lot of depth in there. The quality we're unaware of, but the quantity is there. He entered, remind you guys, entered in the portal in January. Guess nobody was home, then came back. Okay? Now he's obviously entering into the portal again. A couple of things happened. Did you see his Instagram post? I don't know how true that was. It wasn't there when I went and checked, but somebody screenshotted it. Kind of showed, I think, expressed some frustrations about the coaching and the play calling, etc. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, this wasn't a surprise factor, in my opinion. Pup Howard played on the starting defense, was a sophomore, was a transfer as well, balled out. Nunnery was MIA, in my opinion, last year. Didn't have much impact on the team and was playing second team on Saturday with the likes of Miles Graham and Aaron Childs not even on campus, one being injured, and Shamar James and Derek Wingo not playing. So your entire linebacker room, don't forget RJ Milton transferred from safety to senior, who was playing on that first team as well, is also there. So this room was thick. And we've also been saying on the show that we have to make room if we want to go out and get maybe another offensive lineman, if we want to go out and get maybe another wide receiver. We're going to talk about some wide receivers. We brought on a walk-in, which we're going to talk about. Also, too, we've sent an offer, or we have reached out to a previous 4 or 5-star, I think, the number one offensive lineman who's transferring out of USC. So all these things are all good things, but we have to make room for those guys. Dave?
Yeah, we also don't have to move like Sloss in the portal like we did 2 years before. But yeah, situation with Manny Nunnery and it just kind of the screen stuck.
Yeah, we're glitching hard.
There we go. You lag out?
Yeah, we're good now. I don't know what happened.
Glitching hard? Okay, I'll repeat what I said. Yeah, so this whole thing with the portal and all that, and you know, with Nunnery, you know, obviously going to Instagram and saying some nasty stuff I can't repeat here on the air. I mean, you look at the situation, and as you said, the depth that you have at that position, and what you saw from him last year wasn't really impressive to put on tape. Of course, you know, he had those plays in the spring game, and we've been hearing about how well he did it in the spring portal period, but at the same time, or in the spring practices, not portal period, spring practices. And you hear all that, and then you put this together and you're just like, well, maybe he had a talk with the staff and said, hey, look, there's a lot of depth on this team. We're not sure we're going to use you as a starter. We might, or maybe there was just like something in question that he didn't like, and he got kind of upset because he did so well, and he took to Instagram to express his feelings. Either way, like, how many kids have left Florida and then just kind of trashed them anyway? Like, I mean, it's social media. I'm pretty sure this has happened at other schools where the kids have left and probably trashed them, and we just don't see it because we don't look
We're
at
not
other
following it.
teams.
Yeah, we don't care. Yeah.
We're not following it. But like, we're in the day and age of social media now, so everybody can easily pick up a phone and speak their mind. Back in the day when you had Muschamp, you really couldn't do that. You had social media, but it wasn't like social media like it is now. And then obviously you had Mullen. There was social media. You start seeing like these players posting videos of like dried up bacon and all this other kind of stuff. And they were complaining when Mullen was here. It's so easy to express your feelings on social media. It takes 1 second to pick up a phone. Back before, because I remember saying, well, we had all these problems with Urban and nobody said anything. Well, the social media wasn't like it was now. And you couldn't even transfer. We got the instant transfer portal. Now that they changed the rules to where anybody can just instantly transfer anytime, unless you're in the SEC, you got to wait a year. I mean, if somebody gets upset, they get their panties in a wad, they're just going to go somewhere else. And then, like, you've seen these kids, they transfer 3 to 4 to 5 different schools. It's going to be even worse now. You're going to see kids transferring like to 10 schools.
For sure. Now, look, let's kind of transition to a little bit. We've got some inside sources here. I can't reveal any names. And again, take everything with a grain of salt here. This is kind of through conversation, what's being heard. There's some things that we hear that's pretty lock solid, and I'm not saying this isn't lock solid, but I don't want to put a lot of weight into it because look, this time right now, this portal season stuff, there's kids gonna be feeling a certain way. So we have some sources, some close to some coaches from high schools, whatnot, that are hearing there's a particular wide receiver that we have not been speaking of that could be leaving, could be frustrated. From the sounds of it, like how the verbiage went, from what I was reading, it said like the coach is pressing, kind of trying me a little bit. The name is Marcus Burke that's being thrown around. Again, we've heard Andy Jean be thrown around. There hasn't been much noise there either. Marcus Burke now is being thrown around. Now, before we panic, because we know Marcus Burke had a great breakout spring game, this wide receiver room we've been talking about, there was going to be somebody to leave. When I read that comment of like coach kind of pressed me, I have to believe, and there's a Colorado State wide receiver who we're going to get into in just a moment that has put us, as we reached out to him, that there could be like, hey, we're looking elsewhere, and if we do, that's probably going to push Marcus down the list if I had to guess, because we got to think about it, right? Khalil, Eugene, and then Shamir DK, Mazzell had a great game as well. So Burke's fighting for 4-5, and if they bring somebody in, that's frustrating. And so this is what's happening. These guys are leaving, and everyone's getting frustrated. But it's like, look, like it's a business on both sides. There probably is a conversation of like, you have a spot, but if I get this person to come in, you will be behind him. And it's like, I've been busting my ass. You have been, but this is where we're headed. So that's kind of what I picked up for it. How much of that is going to last? Again, we don't know. It could just be a conversation, and nothing ever comes of it. I'm just letting you guys know. That's what we're hearing, and that's where we're at. But
I still have the sexiest hairline in the state of Georgia, so hey, I'm good.
That's true. Shout out to Haley Griffiths. Go Gators. Yes, ma'am. Go Gators. Biggest fan right there, boys and girls.
Man, my glasses again, man. I was amped up. I was fired up, man.
All right, boys. Let's get back to football. Anyways, shout out to Glue and Josh Pray. Hell of a show. I mean, absolute show. We got 430 strong. I mean, come on, baby. I'm probably yelling for being too loud, but let's smash the like button and subscribe. Miami just went down 1 to the Sixers here with a minute 40. Hopefully they can buckle it up and lock and load here. So we were just talking about Manny Nunnery leaving. Now let's get into some targets for the transfer portal. I believe more guys will be entering into the portal. They have to if we want to be aggressive in the portal. Justin Ross was that wide receiver. See his stats there, 64.7 on the PFF, 45 catches, 724, 3 tutties. Their quarterback did pretty well, hence why we got their second string Clay Millen, because the guy that came in for him kind of balled out last year a little bit. When I was looking up the Colorado State wide receivers, their number one guy, ranked top 18 in the country, Tony Norton, I believe. That boy balled out. If he wants to enter into the portal, we'll give him a ring immediately.
That guy caught for like 1,000 yards 2 years in a row. I think it was like 1,100 yards.
Yeah, that poor Colorado State losing both their 1 and 2, but hey, it's a dog eat dog world. So that was somebody that he's visiting, I believe, coming up, right? Like in a couple of days here.
I believe so. I mean, there's been so much transfer portal talk going on, and so many guys going. It's hard to keep up with it right now.
Yeah, so that was number one, and then number two, this was an interesting one. We had Caleb Rillos, tight end from Air Force. He visited back in the December transfer portal. We were hoping we would land him. That never came through. Now he's going to be a walk-on. The stats do not pop off the paper, but he's absolutely huge. I think he's like a 3 or 4 year guy. So excited to have him add on. I mean, look, the walk-on program, we saw what Taylor Spirito did in the spring game. The walk-on program is something that they've been working on hard and heavy. So I don't hate it. It's nothing. It's not a splash, but it's a body.
Yeah, you have to look at people like Khalil Jackson, who was a walk-on and earned a scholarship. Now he's one of the starters right now as a wide receiver. So I mean, like bringing somebody like that in, especially at the size that he is, I mean, he has a chance to make himself on the roster just like anybody else that's a walk-on. So he really loves Florida because I'm sure he could have kept a scholarship or went somewhere else and got a scholarship. He wants to come to Florida. So, I mean, It's a good thing that there's people out there that want to come here and be a walk-on instead. So
love it. So that's a good addition. Again, I can't remember, is Isaiah Zandela, I believe, was the offensive lineman from USC. He had us in his top 6, I believe. I'm probably butchering his name right now, but that was something that I was. Go ahead.
You're talking about Jason Zandabella?
There it is. So that was a big one too. Again, a lot of people on that list, but at least we were in there. So we obviously know we could use some offensive linemen. Shout out Josh Pollier says Connor Griffiths is cute. Not a bad looking dude. Not a bad looking dude. So that is on Caleb Rillos there. So that's good stuff. And then again, we had talked about Manny Nunnery right before Josh Pray hopped on. There wasn't much panic. I think I was probably reading too much into it, but some of the fans kind of lost a little bit.